So, okay, what I wanted to do is start with a story about somebody else who, when I was studying psychology, about a child, and this stuck with me, and it always has stuck with me. So he was only 4 years old. So, and he was getting into the salt at home, always getting into the salt.
Okay.
His parents put him in hospital, and then the doctors and nurses put him on a low sodium diet, a really healthy diet. The child died.
Mm,
They
okay.
did an autopsy on this child, and he had a small tumor on his adrenal gland. So he was actually keeping himself alive by eating the salt. So
Okay.
when they stopped the salt, now this story stuck with me because
Right,
I
yeah.
think it's in all of us. Like, about when I started on my talking about my journey, I think it's in all of us. If we look deep, and that you have to know that this child was then close to death if he
Mm,
is using salt. So when I got well, I was pretty much close to death each
mm,
time I got well. And I think the body does know what to do if it's available in your environment. So, you know, I don't know what it's like for other people, but how I started this was only 9 months ago, and I literally couldn't read, couldn't write. Just before that, I'd been in a neurological hospital for 10 weeks. I had to relearn to talk, walk, make breakfast, do all of these kind of things. And I couldn't read or even find out what a raw vegan was. I literally was just eating foods which made me feel better. And I noticed cooked food as soon as I was even just having dry roasted pumpkin and roast tomatoes and stuff.
mm,
And even having that, I would then fall asleep. Like, what they called chronic fatigue, which I'd had since I was 8, would resurface. And I was
mm,
like, Sky, what are you willing to do to be well? And I noticed salads and fruits did not have this reaction. Just
mm.
if I ate them, I would feel good. And another key was eating these in the sun. So I would go out my back, and I only had like a funny little place. I would sit in the car park in people's car spots with a chair and eat my salad. And just the sun, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it
Yeah.
really helped as well. But sorry, this child, his journey stuck with me, as in, what do you do when you're at dire straits? If you really listen to your body, I really
Mm.
think the answers are there.
Yeah. Because yeah, it's just incredible story, It just yeah. So when they put that him on a low sodium diet, they actually wanted to make sure that he does not have access to any kind of salt, right?
Yeah, he was in hospital when this occurred. So when I was at university studying psychology, this was a study that was done and a case study put forward to our class.
Mhm.
And it really broke my heart, that because I honestly think in children, they probably know
Yeah.
already that what
Yeah.
they should be having. And that child shouldn't have even had the tumor. He's probably been eating, like, lollies and God knows what since he was probably 2. Um, and then the body goes off and gets the tumor. But if you're that sick, your body, I think, and especially in a child which hasn't had that conditioning of other people's opinions, of television advertisements, he literally was keeping himself alive by the salt was regulating oh gosh, um, the adrenal glands,
Mhm.
his adrenaline in his body. Otherwise, once it spiked, he died because of the tumor. Because
Yeah.
that child could only just talk too. It wasn't even at school.
Yeah. And yeah, for anybody that any other child that the amount of soda he ate, it probably could have killed them, right? So everything we see how different we can be. Yeah, exactly.
I kind of just think, obviously, this child had the body needed the salt, so when it tasted it, something lit up in the brain, and then that child just hunted out salt. And I mean, because I mean, and the parents obviously thought they were doing the right thing. And then back to that what we were talking about before, where everyone thinks that health is under the same umbrella. So for this child, they went, salt's bad, we will stop him eating salt, put him under that umbrella, and he died. So it's back
Mhm.
to saying everyone's health is so different. We each need different things. Like, I don't even eat salt now, but if I craved it more than 2 days, I would literally question why I was craving it. Does that make
Mhm.
sense? Like,
Yeah.
to then I then look at something like that. But someone else who has salt, that's what their body needs, it continues to need. Do you know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Like, and if they choose to drop it and it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But we're all different. And I think even in hospitals, when a child gets put in hospital, we can't all be put under the same umbrella. I actually, when I started this journey, people think it was just like that. Like I just woke up one day and I didn't have anything but fruit and vegetables. But no, I cut out nuts, and then I cut out like cacao and nuts and salt, and then anything from a store. So then it was turmeric powder and paprika I cut out too. But what I found with salt is, and it's only recently now that I really realized this, is when you I knew I was doing it. I was trying to get the raw foods in however possible with the most natural way. And I got really ill, and I found I was very bloated I was using Himalayan salt. And once I got that sick, like I was vomiting and it stopped, and I never wanted salt again. But I actually was eating it because I used to have a lot of dulse, and that's covered in sea salt. And I actually want to find out what it's like not to have any salt. So I've stopped that. And that was only about 10 days ago. What I'm finding now is the saltiness that comes from celery and avocado is so intense. Like it just blows me away because I don't have any, and I haven't been in salt water either for a couple of days. So when I eat it, I'm like, boy, I never realized how salty these things are. Which is quite incredible.
Yeah, they are, yes. It's just, our bodies, it's amazing. With sea salt, because you're on the ocean, your skin does absorb some salt, right, through the pores, which is...
But more than that, your nose and your mouth. So you dive in and you blow bubbles out and you kind of circulate the water when you swim. So you do swallow the salt water, like 100%. And I know on dulse it's just salt water, but I really wanted to know what it was like to not have the salt. And what has stood out to me is I'm even more less bloated. I didn't even know I was bloated. I couldn't even say it's bloating, a little bit swollen. But the taste is what has really intrigued me, because I know somebody posted that they blend celery, put it in the dehydrator, and then once that's done, they blend it again and use that as salt. And I thought, that's interesting. So that would probably be really salty to me now.
Once the water evaporates, it becomes fully really salty. Celery, yes, exactly. It's that's definitely when you eliminate. Also, you can really feel the taste, the salty taste, like in tomatoes, in celery.
Yes, I do love the salty taste.